Hi, this is Linford Morton from Photo Tour DC with a special interview for our blog. Today I'm going to talk with Clift Sepherlis. Clift is leading 2 photo tours for us, so I thought it'd be a great idea to have him tell us some more about the tours and what kinds of things we could expect.
Well, my background, I'm a native Washingtonian. For the past almost 20 years, I have been doing a couple of different things. The main line of work I've been involved in has been stone carving and architectural restoration at the Smithsonian, where I do hands-on restoration work on the exterior of the castle on the mall. And then for the past 10 years or so, I have been a licensed tour guide in Washington and New York City, as well as Philadelphia and Boston, which don't require a license. I combine those two, and then on the side, when time permits, I do photography, and in 2009, after 7 years, I produced a book with a local historian called Washington Sculpture. It's a reprint of one that came out in 1974, documenting the entire outside sculpture of the nation's capital. The contiguous themes that we have going at the cathedral are religious history, architectural history, American history, and the 4 mediums that illustrate that point are going to be wood, stone, iron, and glass, and also landscaping. So we are going to be doing some things like we'll probably start our photo tour on the outside, and what I think I'll do is I think I'll have us take our tour through the Pilgrim Woods, which is an area just to the south of the main building, down a large set of steps called the Pilgrim Steps onto Pilgrim Road. And the idea behind doing that is that in having us go up through the woods to the south transept, which is one of the entrances of the cathedral, we are doing exactly what they intended to do when they built cathedrals, 400 to 500 years ago, which was have people come upon this great structure, usually on a hill or some kind of impressive setting, and they realize they had arrived. And so there's a number of ways to approach the cathedral because it's so big and so impressive, but the one that I find that's most appealing is the south side. It also allows you to frame the building with landscaping, with mature trees. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things you can do to photograph it. If you look at other sides of the building, not a lot of landscaping. There's some other structures, but if you come in from the south, not only do you see the Pilgrim Steps, but you also get to see the trees. It puts it in a forest setting. And so you're emerging from this wood, and right in front of you is this massive building on a hill. Mm-hmm. That's the way we approach it. Then what we'll do is we'll start looking at some fundamentals of architecture. We'll understand why the building looks the way it does. What defines the Gothic style? Why is it so tall? Why are those arches pointed? Why are these things sticking off the side of the building called buttresses needed? What's a gargoyle? What's a grotesque? Why are the figures on the outside looking the way they do on one side versus another? One of the things about Gothic, which I hope to relay to the group, is that the Gothic is about irregularity. Gothic is about asymmetry. Gothic is about an answer both stylistically and architecturally to the period that came before it, which was the classical period. So what you had during the Romanesque period was a round arch. What you have in the Gothic is a pointed arch. And so you have a lot of different things that go on that are extremely important to understanding the why and how of Gothic. When we look at the west front, we're going to be learning about the history of the iconography of the building, which is in simple terms how they decorate and why they decorate. When we go inside, we'll further that story as we go from the west end to the east end. So the outside will be the how, the why, the what, and then we'll start introducing the inside with the first piece of major sculpture we see on the outside, which is the west front. What happens when we go inside is the continuation of our principles of Gothic architecture, although, of course, it'll be amazing because hopefully we'll have some sun, so we'll see what the windows do. We'll see what any of the play of light inside is just incredible. But then what we get into is we get into the nitty-gritty, and this is where it gets a little complex. The one thing about the building that makes it stand apart other cathedrals in the world is that this is the only cathedral that we know of that actually tells the history of the written word in the stone and in the glass. So when you walk into the front doors of the building, you are presented with iconography from the book of Genesis, which is the creation story. You walk inside, you're met with all this light, all this these incredible scenes, and then as you go from west to east, you end up literally walking through all 66 books of the Bible in the stones in the ceiling and also in the windows that are on the clerestory level, which refers to the tallest set of windows. So what the people who attend will be seeing is not only the story in stone, but the story in glass, and then the other elements that support that. And that's the religious. From the American perspective, which is a whole other streamline and a subset of this photo excursion, is the history of America in the building. This is a building constructed entirely of American materials: American glass, American stone, American wood, American iron. And not only does it exhibit the craftsmanship, but it also tells in the wood, in the stone, in the windows, the history of our country. For example, I will walk the group over to the window that is in something called the Maryland Bay, and the Maryland Bay has three major windows, what we call lancets, which tell the history of the religious freedom in the founding of the colony of Maryland, with the stream of Christianity from the Episcopalian perspective, the Catholic, and the Methodist. You'll see something as intimate as the Maryland blue crab to the Gerber daisy to the Baltimore Oriole, and you also see imagery of Father John Carroll, who founded Georgetown University, which is interesting because we're in an Episcopal church, and here we have in the window a Catholic. So as you're seeing, it's not an easy building to decipher because there's literally a little bit of everything, no matter what your faith tradition.
Right.
And then, okay, so that's the iconography, that's the art. If we look at the architecture, one of the things that I want to be able to relay to the group is when you walk into a cathedral, when they walked into a cathedral during the High Gothic period, which is what this building was modeled after, the first thing that strikes you is the awe, the aura, the perpendicular nature, the soaring quality of a Gothic structure. That was all intended. But architecturally, as you graduated with each decade, or should we say maybe even each century in Gothic period style, the building got taller and looked lighter. So what I'm going to show them through the lens is how you capture the elements which may appear to be decorative, but they're actually structural. Something like a column which goes all the way up 104 feet to the ceiling, which upon glance would be something that would be more of like an appendage as opposed to it actually being what holds it up. We'll understand why the inside of the rib-groin vaulted ceiling is supported on the outside by the buttresses. If you took those away, the whole building would collapse. I mean, this is all very tied in to specifics, and we want to relay that as to how they understand the specifics as to why.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
A lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff there.
It sounds like you have both a history lesson, architectural class, as well as photography experience. So
yep.
It's all three beautiful. So what are the ground rules here in terms of what people can bring or should bring with?
Well, I think the cathedral is pretty. They're pretty flexible about tripods. So I'd say if they want to bring a tripod, that's fine. By the time we're there, which is in the afternoon, I don't think people are going to need it because we're going to still have a good amount of light inside.
Mm-hmm. And
one other thing about the building is that one of the biggest treasures in there is the West Rose window, which is called Creation. It's about 10,000 pieces of glass, and it is without any figural sculpture. It has no figures represented. It's just matter. And one of the things that happens, as was designed intentionally, was as the afternoon proceeds, especially in the winter when we're so close to the sun, is a different piece of that building will light up in a different color formation every couple minutes. So if we walked into the cathedral at 1 o'clock and then we looked at the rose window, we'd see it being sort of blue and orange. By the time it comes to, let's say, 3:30 or 4, the window's almost red. So it is an actual living piece of architectural glass, which also no cathedral in the world can probably claim to have.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, sounds like we have a lot in store for us. This is great stuff. Anything else before we?
I think that should be it. I want them, if if they have them, obviously I'll do my best to answer them, but they also should try to come with questions about why. What do you want to take back from this besides some good pictures?
Right. Excellent.
So.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward to both of these photo tours.
All good.
Thanks again to Cathe for that very fascinating interview on our upcoming Washington National Cathedral photo tour. This sounds like it'll be very different from any other photo walk I've taken of the cathedral, so I know I'm looking forward to it, and I'm guessing it'll be very different from anything you've experienced as well. If you'd like to join us, register now at www.phototourdc.com/National Cathedral. The cost is only $59, and if you register with a second photographer, you can claim the duo rate for that partner, and that would be just $49. Now, as you know, we deliberately keep our groups small to ensure individualized attention for each of you. So the best way to make sure that you get space is to register right now at phototourdc.com/National Cathedral. Thanks much, and look forward to seeing you there. Bye.